bit of sausage, nice spicy sausage, and some gherkins is a good sandwich.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 77 of the Uncensored Podcast. I'm your host, Riley, and this is my lovely co-host, Keeaun. Keeun, how are you doing today?
I'm doing very good.
Say for Moose is frozen. I'm sorry to stop you there, but he's gone.
This seems like camera difficulties seem to be a common theme today.
Yeah.
This keeps happening every couple of minutes. It works for a couple of minutes, and then I drop out and back in again. So.
Technology is not our friend this evening.
No, that's all right.
Yeah. Freddie, do you want to go do this solo, and I'll catch up with you later.
Oh yeah, try and duck back in. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll allow you back.
I mean, literally, it only lasted 2 minutes. The same. So
there you go.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, today we are joined by one or two guests, not sure, of the wonderful Sons of Liberty. So how are you today?
Apart from the technology, I'm very well. Yeah. How are you?
I am swell myself, Kim.
I'm very, very good. Thank you very much.
Amazing. Well, we're going to start with the casual, normal questions to really get us in the swing of this. So I don't think there's a better starter question than how did you form as a band?
Oh, right. Okay. Kind of Moose and I, and the guys really, we've been around on the Bristol sort of music scene all our lives, so we kind of knew each other. And Moose and I were heading off. He was buying a guitar, bizarrely. Well, we've been in a couple of covers bands, and I tagged along, and we were just in the van, and all this sort of southern rock stuff came on the playlist randomly, and we looked at each other and said, no one's doing this, we ought to do this. So we started Sons of Liberty, and that was it, really. So we were sort of phoned around some people we knew like that kind of music, and we started off as a covers band doing kind of Blackstone Cherry, Skinner, all sorts of stuff, Blackfoot, ZZ Top and things like that. And then, after a couple of years, someone was on holiday, and we'd all been in originals bands when we were younger. We're obviously not on the first flush of youth. So, but I always carried on writing stuff, and we said, why don't we just sort of record a few of our own? And we started introducing our original stuff into the set, and it went down kind of as well as the covers. And we thought, well, this is much better than doing covers. And that just really coincided with guitar-driven rock music gaining popularity again on the live scene. So we hit that, there was a new wave of classic rock stuff going along, emerging rock bands and all that kicked off. So we hit the timing really well, and we haven't looked back, really. So we have sort of 3 albums and 3 EPs in now, and been all over the place. And that's how it started.
Yeah, it's always interesting hearing different stories from different bands. It's really good. Well, a question I do have is, what is the story behind the name? Like, how did you get your name? How did you figure that out?
We probably wouldn't have chosen that name now, because it's a little bit, with the current situation in the world, whichever way you are, it's probably seen as a little bit sort of politically incorrect, I would say. But at the time, it was like 11 years ago we started the band, and we never thought the band would really kick on and do very much. So we just looking for something that was sort of, we're trying to be a southern rock band. So Sons of Liberty was there was an irony to it, because Sons of Liberty was the militia that the Boston Tea Party that kicked the Brits out of the States. So ironically, we thought, well, we're doing southern rock music in the UK and taking it back to the States. So there was a bit of irony in there. It was also a sort of youth brigade in the Confederate Army, so that's the politically incorrect side of it. Was very much. So we probably would have chosen a different name these days, but we didn't think anyone would hear of us. So it was just like, that sounded like a cool name. It sounds American, sounds Southern, and that was it. So yeah, we never thought loads of people would have heard of us.
Well, it does sound like it was pretty thought out, to be fair. Like with everything you said.
I mean, it sounds Southern, doesn't it? It kind of. We did get introduced to Son of Anarchy once in the Winter Storm Festival by the DJ that was introducing the bands. So we have had that problem.
But yeah, it's a very cool name, I think. Would you say it really encapsulates your sound, or at least the sound you were making when you first chose the name?
Yeah. I mean, we're not as rootsy Southern as we started out, because we've kind of morphed into whatever we are, the combination of the musicians in the band and type kind of music we like, which is quite wide ranging. But it's funny with the name, and it just becomes a brand, and people, it becomes less important as the band become more established, because everyone sees you and hears you when they hear that name, but they don't really think about it as much. So it's but it's done us very well. So and
it's like the bigger you get, the name becomes less associated with its intended meaning and more associated with you specifically, and with your music and your sound. It becomes, like you said, it becomes a brand.
It just becomes a brand. It just becomes you, and people see the whole thing. They know what you look like. They hear the music. They know they've got some albums and stuff. Yeah, you're right. When you're starting out, I think it is really important to try and get some originality into the name as well, so it sticks. There's only, I should say the wrong thing here, but there's only so many Blacks or whatever you can. You're not in a band called something Black, are you?
Sorry?
No, that's all right. I was just checking. But I mean, that's just for an example. They can't. I think you should think about everything you do. I think everything in a band, you should try and make it as good as you can make it, and that's the name, the set list, the set order, the song, the lyrics, the song titles, and music. Then it stands out, doesn't it? So you just think about everything: logos, font, everything, posters. It's all important, particularly starting out, because you're doing it all yourself. And I think and
with those early stages, because like when you're getting established and you want people to discover you, I think a name holds a lot more weight then. Because it's like, if someone, because it's almost like the first stage of marketing yourself to somebody. They'll hear the name and go, okay, well, that name sounds like blank. I like what it's implying. I want to check them out. So I think in the early stages, a name is very crucial in order to be able to get out there, get your name on posters and stuff.
You're dead right, because people won't hear the music first. They'll see the name first, or they'll see the Facebook page, or their poster for a show with the name on it. So it's the first thing. So it's it's funny, you're trying to describe what you're like in a few words, aren't you? You're trying to give people a bit of an idea what they're going to get.
It's like the briefest summary.
Definitely.
It's
a good chat, guys. I'm enjoying this.
Well, you touched on your early career and how you guys started, and you said about how you moved away from the cover songs and moved into your more original songs. How would you say, what is your writing process as a band? How do you go through that?
We definitely start with the music first, which I think is pretty typical for most rock bands. And usually, I'm quite prolific. I'm a riff writer, so I'm quite prolific at writing riffs. I'm jamming around on the guitar. If something falls out of it, I'll just stick it on my phone, and then I'll save it. And then if it comes back in my head, I go, that's probably got something. So then I might stick it onto Cubase or something, and stick a bit of a chorus in there, and I'll share it with the guys. And as we go, I just stick them all away, and we share them. And the ones that people like the sound of, then we'll work up together as a band, and everyone brings then their sort of input into it, and we rough the songs out. And then it was kind of, we've been in a strange situation that we've been through a few singers. So the last album, we'd kind of done the music before we had Russ to come in and sing it. So we gave him pretty much the finished backing tracks and some of the lyrics as well. And then he sort of came up with these amazing melodies and harmonies and stuff on there. And so, yeah, I don't know, the last album wasn't typical for us. And we did go into the studio and do pre-production with our producer and producer, mixer, engineer. We did the last couple of albums, Jay Manning from Chris Barris band. You probably, you'll know them. And he's an incredible producer and musician as well. So some of the song arrangements and a few of the sort of chord ideas and stuff were worked up in pre-production that were, Josiah's kind of input as well. So it's, I think the nice thing is when you get a bit more experience in the game, you surround yourself with really good people as well. So we get some really good input into what start out as fairly basic ideas, really. And the stuff that you like and everyone clicks into gets worked up, and eventually this song pops out at the end of it.
Yeah, of course. And staying on the written aspect of your work, what would you say are your kind of top songs that you guys have written? What are your favorite ones?
I guess, coming from, it's hard for me because I pretty much started most of them musically, and then it's quite close to them. So some of the ones I've grown to like are the ones I like playing live.
Yeah.
And I think that and the ones that get a good reaction live as well, you get, so it's not necessarily what you think of the best songs, they're the songs that everyone likes. So you like the songs that other people like and that are great to play live. So personally, I love playing Walk With You because I get to stretch out a little bit in the solo on that, and we extend it a bit live. And the lyrics are really sort of meaningful and powerful. They're sort of if you listen to them, they were inspired by people reaching out for help and seeing the numbers sort of responses and how caring people can be and how important it is to talk to people. So it's a bit of a cliched thing, but it came from quite a deep place. So I think sometimes just what's in the lyrics kind of chime with you as well. So that song for me, I love playing it, and I like the sentiment in it. I love the sentiment in Hawk Men Come, but it's quite a chilled song. It's basically about dictators and wars and stuff, so it's quite kind of topical as well. So that came from a deep place. Turn This Tide I really like as well. And again, see, our songs are not very southern, are they? They're all quite right on. That's about the environment. So, I think the songs that have a really deep meaning for me, because also then the music has more power in it, more passion in it, if you get me. So I like the kind of song, they may not be the frivolous ones that are more popular. Some of the songs live that people really like, like The Fuse, again, it's just, kind of just straight up rocker. Everyone likes that, and I love playing it, and it's great fun. But personally, I like the songs that have a bit of depth, and where the lyrics can really sort of came from somewhere quite deep,
Yeah.
But recognizing they may not be everyone's favorite.
Yeah. So would you say that overall, because a lot of what you just talked about, would you say that's what you aim to do with your music, is you want to be able to get a message across, or to talk about something, or get something out through that medium of music?
I don't know. I mean, don't want to be too preachy, but I mean, yeah, the last album was really the first time I'd written a lot of lyrics, because we had singers before that took that kind of that role. But it's, a lot of the stuff I find that I like to write about the human condition and things that might connect with people, so it's finding a thread of something that means something to other people. So yeah, I don't know. We're not really. I don't know whether that's the band thing or whether people like it in the band, but it's kind of how the last album came out. There's quite a lot of depth in there, and it's a lot of it is about the human condition, but there's still frivolous stuff in there as well. It's libertine and things like that, which it's just great fun songs. So a bit of mix, a bit of light and shade. I suppose you don't want to kind of doom people out too much, but
yeah, of course, the balance.
Yeah.
And just because, of course, you have made, I believe you said 3 total projects now, and and you've said yourself you're already starting to make a name. You're becoming what you set out to be with your name and everything. Do you have any advice for any upcoming artists or bands that are where you were a few years ago, that are just starting out, and if you could pass on any sort of wisdom or knowledge that you've had through the years of being in a band, what would you really pass on?
I think, well, I mean, it's probably the same as almost everyone said. I think the music is absolutely critical. You have to have great songs, or you have to be, not great in terms of technical ability or anything. They have to be meant.
Yeah.
The music has to be, people, you pick up on it, don't you? If someone's going through the emotions, you can know if there's emotion in what you're hearing. So it doesn't have to be high art, just has to be really felt and meant. So I think you've got to, the music, it's all about music at the end of the day. It doesn't matter what you look like, doesn't matter how much backing you got. You won't last that long if the songs aren't great. So I think really taking care and doing the best you can, and if you can work with experienced people, when you're we call it forever music. Once it's down, it's down. Once you've recorded something, that's there forever, and it will be there forever. Now it will be on some streaming platform, irrespective of how many people listen to it, it is there. So to get to that point, I think you really need good song. And I think it's the hardest thing is you need to have some originality. The volume of music now is massive. I don't know how many, some horrendous stats in there about how many songs go up on Spotify, for example, every day. It's like hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
So it's what is it about this band, your band, talking, there's the viewer, if you're, if you're a musician or you're interested in it, what is it that's different? What is it that's interesting? What is it that stands out? And that's the hardest thing, isn't it? Because we're all inspired by everything that we're passionate about and all the bands we like and all the music we like.
Of course.
But I think I try and avoid looking, don't look like the band, your favorite band. Don't get the same guitar as your favorite band and the same, the whole get up stuff. That's a massive turn off for me, because it just says, well, I want to be X, but you won't be, because they're X, you're Y, be Y, be whatever it is you are. Find what it is. Sorry, I'll clump my mic. Find what it is that is something about you, and just make it authentic. And I think how to stand out is really hard.
And that is what I was going to come to. It's like, how do you believe you can stand out in such an oversaturated, well, not oversaturated, but a very densely saturated market nowadays, where anyone can make music and so many people do? It's like, how do you make sure you are the brightest torch?
Yeah, and I think it's, I think, once you find, you naturally, as a band, the members of a band will have something about them. I think you almost want to be a cartoon character of yourself. Accentuate it. You don't have to all be the same. You don't have to. It doesn't. Whatever is you, be a bigger version of that. If you look at our band, we're very unlikely. We're an unlikely band. We're pretty old. We're whatever we are. But if you look at the band on stage, you'll see everyone's has a character. And they're all quite large, and I think that is quite endearing to people, because it's easy then. People go, I know them. That's the band with the guys with the big hats, or the whatever it is. So and if you look at a lot of bands that are doing really well, some of the bands that are sort of, you can do it both ways. You can be just like super too cool for school and just look like everybody else, but I think that's hard. I think if you can, these Wicked Rivers, for example, they've got a massive image. You've got the light shades, you've got the hats, the beards and stuff going on. You know what they look like. You don't have to hear them. You can, if I say them, you can picture them.
Of course,
because they are cartoon caricatures of themselves. Hot Damned, you can see them in the coloured suits or whatever. I'm just picking out some bands that have strong, they've got massive wagons. You can see Baz straight away. I think that is getting the balance between being a sort of obviously recognizable and kind of not having some originality and authenticity. If you can get that, I think that's key. So I think I'm probably talking in riddles now, but I think you understand what I'm trying to say. If people, what if you say a name of a band and you could see them, you can see the kind of, there's something about them that you image. I think that's really important. If you say a band and you just they look like every other band and dressed like every other band or whatever, it's very hard to, which one's that? Oh, is that them? Or they're great. The music's great. They're great musicians, but you're going to confine yourself to that big mass of.
Of course. And it's a formula that, I mean, you can see work in real time. You mentioned Massive Wagons back in like 2022. We had them on the podcast. Like, we interviewed Massive Wagons, and you look like where they were then compared to where they are now, and like they skyrocketed, and they've got such a identity about themselves, such a strong image.
And sometimes it's I think the Wagons, a lot of it is over time you get to see all the band and recognize all of them. To start with, is you see Baz in his top hat and the stuff that so it doesn't have. Sometimes it's about the sort of central thing, and sometimes it's about a Hot Damn thing when they're all, you can see all of them in the different colors and stuff. Something, I don't know, there's no right way, is there? There's no formula. But that's, I don't know. What else for young bands starting out aspiring? So great songs, work really take care over everything you do and make it as good as you possibly can, because it's here forever.
Yeah.
And the last one is don't take it too seriously, because it'll do your head in. Enjoy the journey, enjoy what you're doing at the time, and that's the same in anything in life. You see it's easy to get consumed with what you're not doing and what other people are doing, and then judge your success. That is not success. It's nothing about how good anyone is. Massive amount is luck, is getting the right chances. We had a big chance when we played one festival, and that, if we hadn't done that, maybe none of this other stuff would have happened. Most of it is luck. There are hundreds of thousands of great bands out there. So enjoy the journey and every moment. We still get to play shows in very small places to quite small audiences, and we enjoy those as much as anything else. And we enjoy the Premier Inn or whatever it is you're staying in. Enjoy the breakfast and enjoy the sitting in the van and talking nonsense with everyone, because that's the same for everyone. And I think don't beat yourselves up over it, and it's not competition. It's art. It's not high art. It's a form of art. So it's just, the joy is in being able to be part of that and enjoy it, and I always kind of I think being grounded to say, okay, we're not X, we're not Blackstone Cherry, or we're not whatever, but actually what we're doing is fantastic. And almost everybody else in the world that has ever wanted to pick up an instrument will look at us and go, wish I could do what they're doing. And just to be able to play on, in a local pub and get up and have somebody clap and enjoy it is a joy. And it doesn't really get much better than that. It just gets more of a business, I think, at some stage.
Of course.
Go on.
It's like, we sticking on like the performance side of music. Do you have any like really fond memories or good memories of any live performances that you've done that have really stuck to you?
Oh yeah. I mean, I think the ones remember all of them. It's funny, and we've done, I don't know how many, 300 or something. And you can trigger, and you've got a memory of all of them. So they're all good. I think the ones you tend to remember are ones you have images of, all that, some of the ones that are you were more excited or nervous about. We played a couple in France that were really big for us, and so those were a great memory, because it felt like something we hadn't done before. So I think those ones where they have some novelty about them. We played some of the bigger stages are memorable because you didn't think you'd be there. But some of the smaller ones have been, some of the better gigs. It's not about, I think I enjoy the little clubs, and we go up to Bannerman's quite a lot, and it's tiny. I don't know if you've been up there, but it's not a big place, but it's wonderful, and we love going there, and everyone loves going there. So I haven't really answered your question away. There are some shows that were pivotal for us like that. First time we did Giants of Rock, and that was that allowed us to do other things. It was because there was a lot of people there. So I think, it's getting in front of a lot of people is helpful, because it opens doors to other things. Also, you get people then that are going to come to your other shows because you've been in front of a lot more people. Also, being around other musicians that you admire. So some of the festivals are really great because you're there with people that you think, my God, we've just gone on before X and Y. It's quite nice. Yeah, I'd hate to single them out too much because I think they're all memorable. And we've done the Planet Rock Stocks and some great festivals. But we've supported some bands as well. We went out with FM, which for a while, and that was a real sort of dream for us because we grew up around the same time as them, and they were massively successful, and were quite a few of us were massive fans of them. So to spend time with them, and Grand Slam and people like that, we've been out on the road with, and they're good friends, and so those are always nice. But Molly Hatchet, I won't talk about. They were a bit of a challenge, but we supported them on the UK tour.
On the subjects of your shows and festivals, are there any like particular venues that are like complete dreams for you? Like the ones that, like, if there's a personal meaning, or if it's just because it's an iconic venue. Are there any venues that really stand out as like, if I could play anywhere, it'd be here?
Oh God! I mean, I can't single out any of the venues that we're playing because we'd upset the ones that we haven't mentioned. So all of the venues on the the independent music scene are fantastic. The dream venues, I don't know really. There's a couple of festivals I would have liked to have played, which we haven't played. Would have liked to have done Steelhouse, so that would be nice. Stone Dead as well, we've not done. We've pretty much done most of the others. We're not a download band, so that's never going to happen. So be nice to get the set really and do those, but you can't do everything, can you? In terms of venues, some of the ones, KK's is great. Played there with New Wave of Classic Rock. That's a really nice venue. Enjoyed that. We played the 100 Club in London, which was quite iconic. So that was nice to have done. It's a big tick. So I think the ones that have a lot of sort of history about them are kind of nice. We did Camden Underworld.
And that is such an iconic venue.
So those ones that are kind of, if the Marquee was still around, I'd love to have done the Marquee, but but Moose wasn't able to log in, but he's played the Marquee. I think the iconic ones are quite nice. Some of the O2s, we've done a few of them, but never played the O2 in Bristol, so we're from Bristol, so that would have been nice as well, to get there. But,
I mean, there's some incredible venues, and I mean, by the sounds, you've already played some very impressive places before. I mean, the Underworld. I mean, you want to talk about iconic venues within rock, metal. The Underworld is like the venue. I need to put the Mac on charge before it dies halfway through this.
We only played the support at the Underworld. I will qualify that.
Anything
playing
there, fantastic. So that the London ones, like Underworld and 100 Club, were really good to. It's those ones where you go, I never thought I'd be here, that seem to kind of be quite nice. And I can't pick out any of the places that we play a lot because they're all fantastic and we love them all dearly. I just upset everyone that I left out.
We'll staying on kind of like the dream side. If you could, like, this is a question like you guys usually ask anyway. But I'm gonna switch up a little bit.
Okay.
I think you might have actually done this. If you had a festival, okay, what would be your dream festival lineup. If you had a few bands at your festival, who would you want to book? Like, out of everyone.
Oh God. I mean, it'd be a mixture, I guess, of like friends bands. So we'd have Chris Barris, we'd have Grand Slam FM, Wicked Rivers, band. I mean, I quite like Scarlet Rebels. I'll probably have them along as well. And so some of those sort of bands that have come up with us and probably done a little bit better than we have. But and then I'll probably have a Blackstone Cherry in there. I think we all go for that. Headline Skinner probably. Also they're still out there doing it.
I mean, everybody.
Yeah. I mean, it could keep going. How long we got? Yeah. But we probably all choose different bands for sort of headliners, I think, as well. We're quite eclectic. Steve, the drummer, likes his like metally stuff and symphonic stuff, which is his kind of bag. And Moosey likes his 80s kind of 90s metal stuff. So I'm more into my classic rock and things like that. And Russ is he'd have Busted there. He's a big Busted kind of fan. So I think is it Busted and the other one? I don't know about the two of them, isn't it? But everyone's different. But,
I mean, you got a bit of variety.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, a bit of new and a bit of. I mean, the Made of Stone lineup this year is colossal. So something like that would be great. I don't know if you go to Made of Stone Festival, but cracking lineup this year for that.
You think I am going?
So I'd probably get Chris, who runs that, to sort of line up for me. He's good at it.
Am I going? Hang on, let me check my festival list. I was definitely meant to. No, I think I'm away. But no, I've seen the lineup. It looks incredible. But
Schenker as well. I'm a big Schenker fan. So
So I'm a big fan of kind of just all music. I love me some rock, love some metal. But if I had to narrow, I've always had a real soft spot for like 90s glam rock, just because I am a big fan of their presentation. And you mentioned earlier, how do you stand out? Every band back in the 90s, like your Motley Crues, your Kiss, your like Twisted Sister, exactly. Like there are so many iconic faces, and I think nowadays there's a lot of amazing bands, but there's far less where I can look at a picture and go, oh, it's da 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 from Burda. Whereas in the 90s, it's like these guys have presented themselves so like out there and so unique that I've got no choice to recognize.
I mean, Van Halen, even the 80s, that massive look. Guns N' Roses, just iconic look. Striper is a bit too far for me. Don't go down the Striper route. The black and yellow stripes, So, but you're right. They were quite outlandish, weren't they?
Definitely, and I think we should bring it back. I really do. I believe it was such a sense of
bands out there doing a bit of that. There's a few giving it some of that.
It's slowly on the resurgence. But,
I think it is really. I think we kind of sort of. It's funny that a lot of it's about nostalgia, isn't it? So, as our fan base are getting a little bit older generally, and then the next generation of rock fans who are into the stuff was a little bit later than the stuff we're all into is coming along, and the music, we're going back. The 80s and 90s is coming. If it's not already here, that stuff's coming back, and it'll continue.
Definitely great to see. Well, I believe we're kind of entering that third quarter now, where we get to the big heavy hitter questions near the end. So it's all right. We're not running out of time. we've still got a good few, but I thought I'd start offloading the trademark questions now.
Yeah. Okay. Go on.
The classic ones. So this question, it has legacy. It's one of the few questions that have been asked from episode 1. Never missed an episode, and it just kind of breaks the episode up a bit. So what I'm curious, what is the best sandwich?
Best sandwich. I think if you go for the sort of classic salami and sort of gherkin thing, American-y on rye stuff is a good sandwich with a bit of sort of Gruyere cheese or something in there, or what is it, Gruyere? I don't know. Emmental probably. Yeah, Emmental. Yeah, bit of sausage, nice spicy sausage, and some gherkins is a good sandwich, I think.
You know what? That's respectable.
That's very respectable. Yeah.
Sometimes you can't go wrong. It's safe. It's tasty. I don't understand the gherkin hate. I think gherkins add great flavour.
Spectacular. Yeah.
They make a burger. I'll stand by that. A burger.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a big. Yeah. I can't say a big gherkin fan. That sounds a bit wrong, doesn't it? Yeah, you know what I mean. But the taste, yeah, it's great. Yeah.
Oh dear. Oh Lord.
But yeah, swiftly moving on. Another closing question that I have come up with. Where would you see yourself and your band in the next 5 years, musically and influentially, just in general?
Oh, I don't know. You can't think that far ahead. I really can't think far. I think come back to my earlier answer is just enjoy what you're doing at the time and enjoy the journey and the privilege you have. You know, so it's not all a upward climb.
Yeah,
because you're just setting yourself up for disappointment if you think you're gonna. I think there's a point where it becomes, if you're starting to make money for other people, it becomes a business and it becomes a job like any other job. So I think staying under that. So for me personally, I would see myself still doing what I am passionate about, whatever that is in music, and I don't know what that'll be. Clearly, the band is, we're not going to be stratospheric. We're not suddenly, we're independent. We've been independent all the time. So we're in charge of our own destiny, and I think there's a lot to be said for that.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be, and I don't know about the others. I'm just thinking from my perspective. I just hope to still be able to create and share music, and that's as good as it gets. I'm not going to have a yacht and several homes, and that's not what I think that's not what it's about. I think you have to play the corporate game if you want to do that, and this band's too old to do the corporate game, and I don't know we want to do it. So it'll be. I think if we can still be enjoying music and at whatever level as individuals we want to do it, that's as good as it gets.
I like that.
Yeah, that was good.
That's respectable.
Yeah, very respectable.
There's more layers to it than a lot of answers.
Yeah,
of just like, mate, we're gonna be proper wicked.
Yeah, we're gonna be at the O2.
Yeah, that is a very true to self answer.
Yeah,
I like that a lot.
The thing is, none of that's in your gift. So I think what is in your gift is creating something, enjoying it, or trying to enjoy it. So that other stuff, I don't know. That's that idea of the sort of 80s, 90s hair metal, rock star, Jets, 70s stuff with excesses and drugs and groupies and stuff. That ain't what the scene's like about. If you're in it for that, you're going to be disappointed, and you can't make money at it anymore.
Yeah,
even we know some fairly big hitters, and they're all working really, really hard to. It's not you don't sell records in volume or albums in volume anymore. So you've got to get big audiences to make shows pay, and you just end up paying a lot of other people. So I think that's my to continue enjoying it is all you can hope for, and don't forget what you've achieved.
Yes, I like that. Just before we get to the actual closer question, I've got a question I've been thinking about. Is there, what song, if like an already existing song, would you pick if you could like have made it your own? Like overnight, you wrote it now, you've released it. Like, is there a particular song you go, I wish I made that?
There'd probably be songs. I mean, there's some songs I think are really great songs that are not even that rocky. I love Stormfront by Billy Joel.
Yeah,
I think that's a wonderful song. I don't know how people write something that simple, but that's something that great. So yeah, that's a cracking song. Dirty Laundry is fantastic. Don Henley is a great song. So I like songs, big songs really, that not necessarily rock songs. But in terms of rock stuff, I don't know. Rock Bottom, I'll say that. I would have changed the lyrics though, but I mean, what a great riff,
I thought a pretty solid answer.
Yeah, very solid. Yeah.
Well, as we're approaching around the hour mark, it is time for the big question. It's a doozy, and I feel it will take a good minute. So we're buckling in now. Let me explain the rules for this. You better be taking notes because I'm going to make you do this in the future.
Oh, yeah. Okay, right.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to ask you to make a band. Now, here are the rules. You can have as many or as few people as you'd like in the band, as long as you've got the core fundamentals of a singer, a bassist, a guitarist, and a drummer. You can be in the band, but you don't have to be. You can have anyone playing any instrument, but they will not magically learn to play that instrument. They can be dead or alive. They will be alive when they perform, unless you specifically request them not to be. And it's your turn.
Oh my lord! Well, I've got John Bonham on drums.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Got to get Bonham on drums, haven't we? So that's solid. Need a really good bass player, don't we? I could just go 2 for 1. Let's have Glenn Hughes on bass and doing a bit of vocals.
Yeah.
I bet I'm going to say Russ Grimmett on lead vocals. I think Glenn would keep him honest. That would be quite good to see. I'd just like to see him sweat. And we've got to have like 4 or 5 guitar players. Can I have Schenker again?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Bit of a big Schenker fan. And if we go, he wouldn't work with anyone though, would he? I'm not sure. Scrap Schenker, because he wouldn't be able to be in a band with anyone else that played guitar. Oh Lord, we can bring Gary Moore back. Let's bring Gary Moore back.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, that'll do me. Yeah. He can do it on his own. Yeah, I'm not playing with him. Yeah.
Is that your band, or is there auxiliary that you want to add?
I'll have Josiah, from our producer, from Chris Barris, on keys as well. I mean, he does there's fantastic Hammond organ stuff going on. That'll work really well with that band. Yeah, it's a good band.
That's a very good band, actually.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, definitely. That's quite a good super band, actually. I do need to. I always meant to write all these down and then do something with them, but then I was like, what do I do with what now? It's almost 80 bands. And I'm like, all right, that's awesome. What do I do?
Name them all.
Give
them all names.
I could name. I was going to do a big bracket.
Oh, so, yeah, and you could have a vote, couldn't you?
Yeah, exactly. I I'll save that. I'll
Have a
save
sort
that.
of have a band off thing, and you can put 2 against each other each week.
Yeah.
See?
I mean, I was gonna see if I could like pay a small fee to make the super band, but then I was also like, I don't think Michael Jackson's available right now, so I kind of had to put a stop to that one.
So you could fill the gaps in. So you can kind of
I'm kind of a modern day Michael Jackson, not in the bad ways, just you know.
Well, I mean,
the alleged bad ways.
The alleged bad
alleged bad ways. Yeah. But
And no, that's a very good band indeed. And with that, I have came to the end of my questions. So this is the time now. If there's anything that you'd like to promote or anything you'd like to say or get out there, the floor is yours.
Well, if anyone's still watching, because it's been quite a long one, when's this going out? How quick?
2 weeks it should be.
2 weeks. We will be on tour.
Oh.
So if this comes out in time, if it comes out before the 14th of March, 13th of March, that would be really handy. We're at the Cart and Horses. We're at the Cart and Horses in London.
Mm-hmm.
Then we're in Northampton. No, Hastings. 14th, 15th, Northampton. I can't read out all these shows. We're on tour. We're on tour with Thieves Of Liberty. And will you put our website link in the chat thing, or shall I say it? www.sonsoflibertybanduk.com/shows.
Amazing.
You can see all the shows there. And we're playing right away through till May, middle of May on the tour. So one weekend off, one weekend on, one off. Out with Thieves Liberty for most of the shows. Got a Kick Trigger at one of them. It's going to be cracking. So that's the next thing. So yes, I will promote that. Plug.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I highly recommend getting a ticket for that. Of course, the Sons of Liberty are incredible. Thieves of Liberty, you hear them in the opening of every single Uncensored podcast. They are our intro theme. They have been for basically every episode since we started.
Oh wow, yeah, cool.
Yeah, Back Again is a classic of the Uncensored podcast. It played earlier in this episode. It would have.
Yep.
But yeah, so I highly recommend checking that out. There'll be links to everyone's socials and everything in the description. And with that, I believe this brings this to a close. Thank you very much for coming. I've had a very good time.
Yeah,
Thanks,
very
nice.
Gentlemen. Really enjoyable. That's been great. Cool. I hope I didn't go off on one, but I'm like,
no, it was very insightful.
yeah,
it was good to hear.
Yeah.
Great stuff. Yeah. So thank you very much for watching, everybody. Like I said, find all the socials below. Go check out some other episodes. The Tooth Gore one came out 2 weeks ago. A few others recently released. We're now back on that full-time schedule. Keeaun still undecided if he's the full-time new host or not, but it'll be him or Ollie for the next few. So stay tuned for that. Check out Tom's lives as well. He posts those twice a week. I think it might be too late by that point. Actually, I won't plug that. But yeah, have a very good evening, everybody. I hope you very much enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Bye, everyone.